Hey guys, it's Joey here. This might be a random video, but mostly the reason of this video is, to explain why I quit Iruna. I've had a lot of questions, like, why did you delete your character? Why couldn't you just, delete the app and delete all its memory and, just abandon it as a whole and not have had deleted your characters, because I either spent money on them or because I, spent a lot of time on them, etc. I understood, and I know how much time on it I invested in that game, and that on itself is unhealthy. I've had a lot of problems lately, emotionally and physically, and I've spent so many hours in that game just trying to ignore everything that's been going on with me, in my life and the people that I meet. And after a certain amount of time you invest into something, that you just want to give up. You just don't want to keep doing it anymore. Once you start feeling sick and tired of doing the same thing over and over, you just need to abandon it, for the sake of your health, for the sake of your mental health, for the sake of your being as a whole. You can't stay stuck into the same things forever, if you feel sick, just treat yourself, just make yourself feel better. And the only way that I could make myself feel better emotionally and, how do you say it, even physically itself, I just had to quit Iruna. I needed to delete everything. I didn't want anything to come back to. I didn't want my character to exist. I didn't want anything. Literally all I wanted was to quit Iruna and abandon it as a whole, because I didn't need it in my life anymore. I've invested so many hours that I could have invested in myself to make myself happy. I could have invested all those hours into, going outside and having fun, doing something I actually enjoy. I just could have done way much better things than I did playing that game, and that's something that I didn't want to worry myself or anybody about. I just didn't want to deal with it anymore. And there's just some things in life that you can't stay stuck to, because they're gonna make you feel stuck. They're gonna make you feel like you're not supposed to go anywhere else. And when it comes to Iruna, that's a thing that happened. I was so stuck and so committed on, making myself better in game, actually pretending to do something that I enjoyed doing, but I honestly didn't. I didn't really enjoy playing Iruna after the first couple of years. It was nice and fun, actually. There were people were nice, the market was stable. And now it's it's hard to make friends, because everybody's either competing against you or talking crap about you, or just trying to ignore everything you've done. And because of that, you just don't feel accomplished. Had to cut the video there. I was being interrupted by a knock. I don't know if you heard it in the background, but I forgot what I was saying. But I guess from this, I'm just gonna tell you guys, listen, you need to wait, hold up, sorry about that again. But listen, you really need to start paying attention to yourself, paying attention to the things that you do, because you're gonna get stuck. You're gonna feel stuck. And you might have a lot of friends, you might work a lot, you might invest more of your hours into other things, but I can tell you this about Iruna. Iruna is a very toxic community. You meet really funny people, you meet nice people eventually, but the game right now, in its current state, it's just going to crap, honestly. Like it's not easy to do anything anymore. The prices are so high, the people you meet are just so toxic, or just so like, you know, just toxic in all ways. Like I really can't describe it in any other way. Like, yeah, like you could tell me like, hey, every single game is like that. I'm like, I agree. Every single game has its toxic community, but not like Iruna. Like Iruna's toxicity from day 1 to day like 0. You can start today and already want to quit the game by the end of the day, because you just don't feel accomplished. Like you don't feel like you can do anything anymore, because one, the game itself, like the coding and everything that has to do with drop rates, you know, all the formulas to damage, and you know, amplifiers and percentages, all that nerd stuff that you guys probably don't care about. You know, like it's so unfair, because you invest so much hours into farming something, and even, you know, paying for the pay to win stuff like tickets, that you still don't feel accomplished, because, you know, now everything is so high priced that you're kind of forced to farm the bosses that are like high up there. And then when it comes to an item that you need, that's usually around mid-tier. Like mid-tier, I'd say stuff that's around like 100 to 200 mil, you know, for everybody, that anybody can use. Like it's just not accessible anymore, because people are so focused on only getting money, you know, that they're investing their real money, or investing all their time to farming the bosses of high value, you know, that there's just no items in the market anymore. And you know, there's also so many people quitting the game too, because, you know, they also realize just the poor state it's in. And you know, another thing is all the people that play it. You know, they all have their own problems emotionally and physically in their own lives, and they, you know, they use the game as a coping mechanism. Like I get it, like Iruna's super addicting and you can invest all the hours into it, but when you realize all the hours that you've put in it, like 2,000, 3,000, even 10,000 plus hours, like on the game itself, and all the money that you spend on the game, like you can spend literally like $3,000 plus, and you still don't feel like you've accomplished anything, because, you know, you're always gonna have somebody that's gonna like poop talk you every single time, because it's like, you know, you do something and then, you know, someone has to say something about it. Like it's common though, you know, in everyday life and even in games. That's just how it is. But you know, when you look at the bigger picture, if 80% of the community is like that, that's not a good game to play. Like there's a lot of games I could tell you right now that are way better just because of the community. And you know, I've been playing Toram now because, you know, I actually have fun with it, and it's actually not garbage. And you know, there's a lot of more people migrating from Iruna to Toram because it's easier to play. The people are actually like nicer. Well, at least the people in the English servers, not the international server. Never log into the international server. The only reason why I'm into international is just to level. That's pretty much the only reason. That's pretty much the only reason you should ever be in international. For leveling and for material gathering. Everything else you could do by yourself in English, and there's, you know, people still at bosses in English, so it's not like you're gonna be lost. Like you could do way better things, honestly. Like don't be focusing on a game, especially if it's Iruna. Like if you're gonna be investing your time in a game to cope, let it be another game. You know, actually buy a game that's actually fun and that's not gonna stress you out every single goddamn millisecond. And like that's all I really can recommend. I'm like, I used to love playing Iruna back in the early years because, you know, everything was so easy. and you could literally talk to everybody, and like they wouldn't like, you know, poop talk you every day or talk trash about like what you did. And you know, like now you can't even play the game. Like it's literally unplayable. Like it's hard to start the game too. Like I was planning to make a how to beginner guide on Iruna, but like because I quit, it basically like canceled that plan out because I just couldn't deal with the game. And like literally the only way you can make money being a starter is leeching off groups, leeching off how do you call it, just leeching off raids, because that's like the only thing you can get, or the only thing you can do that will give you money, because then you can make empty crystals from that. And like literally that's all you could do. Like this is a pretty self-explanatory video. Like I wasn't trying to go like in depth of like what actually was happening, because you know that's none of you guys' business. It's kind of my own business, but the fact that I'm, you know, putting this out there alone is kind of unnecessary, because people should understand, you know, people's reasons to quit. So, you know, for all the backlash that I've been getting for quitting, all I'm gonna say is that you shouldn't really blame somebody or make somebody feel like crap just because they quit a game and stuff like that. That just adds on to the toxicity of, you know, the way that you play the game and you as a person. You should be ashamed of yourself. I can do, you know, what I want in my life. I can quit whatever game I please. You know, like I don't have to feel backtrack. I don't have to feel like I'm stuck playing a game because I'm some type of role model, or because I'm like either highly known by the community and people are like backlashing me because I quit a game that I've invested so much years on. That isn't any of you guys' business. If I want to quit the game, I'm gonna quit the game. I quit it because of emotional problems and emotional issues that I've had. And Iruna has just amplified all of those emotional problems further just because of the community and of how the game is right now. And honestly, I don't ever see myself playing that garbage trash again. And if you don't like the way I speak, that's not my problem, and it is not your problem either. Because everyone's entitled to their own rights and their own, you know, their own opinion. So if you don't like the way that I speak about it, well, go fucking cry to mama.